Let's look at it, right? So they stick with family, and when I say stick with family, let's look at the relationship dynamics inside the family. Like I said, if you want this information live in person, this and a lot more we're gonna go over, because it's gonna be so heavy. Oh, it's gonna be so heavy. Text tour, join the tour, go on tour with me. Right? So, what is the relationship between the daughter and the father? Let's start with that. Can anybody tell me what that relationship is supposed to be? How is it defined? What's the protocol? There was a story by Huey P. Newton. It's called Revolutionary Suicide. He talked about some of his practices that his family in the South had. He said one of the practices, when there was a newborn, right, the sibling would take that newborn, right, and or I don't know if he said it was a newborn or when it was an age they could walk or whatever, and they would be the first ones to walk them out the house. Right? So they'd walk them out the house and take them on their first walk or whatever, and it was a representation, right, of the responsibility that they're going to have for their sibling. Right? And I was just thinking about like the rites and the rituals that we had when it came to family. But today we don't have those same rites and rituals. We don't have that those rites of passage when it comes to family at all. Think about it. Like, what are the rites of passages in your family? What is the son supposed to do and the daughter supposed to do? So with the ripping away of structures, roles, you saying you just getting rid of everything that was ever created for the advancement of that family, spiritually, scientifically. So I thought it was important because I was like reading this book and they were talking about like, okay, this is the relationship between the father and the daughter. This is how their relationship is supposed to be. This is the relationship between the father and the son. This is his responsibility, how their connection and relationship is supposed to be. This is between the mother and the father, the son and the mother, the daughter and the son and the daughter and the mother. So they all know their roles in those houses. And I'm like, yo, that makes it so much easier. Instead, but what do we see in mainstream American TV? Because people get mad at the agents for controlling Netflix and not wanting to show certain things because it's propaganda. Y'all think it's oppression. The oppression is just allowing your children to watch anything because it confuses them. So you on TV watching the story of how a daughter rebels and she hates her mother even though her mother is loving her and all she wants to do is rebel, or her father just don't get it, all the problems of a teen. It's programming you. It's programming you. The deconstruction of the family has taken place in media and programmed people with issues and problems that did not exist at first. So now it's creating wars and battles because most of the issues that we seen them on TV before we had them. We seen them on TV before we had them. Women are supposed to go to college and have the lesbian experience. I remember that programming on TV, and it just became a thing and it was accepted. Like, you're supposed to, like, imagine if you never seen those things. These are what we call preconditions. The decisions you make are not your own. They are the pre-programs and conditions that were set in your life that programmed you. So they took all of these successful family shows that were on TV that were, I'm talking about high ratings, large audiences, and they just cut them off. Well, why would you do that? Can anybody tell me why would that make sense? That it's working. You have a successful model. Everybody wants to watch it. But we taking Family Matters off. We taking all of the shows off. Why would you do that? Unless you want a different programming. Oh, we gonna get into it, man. Self-wars. So we think about our culture, but our we don't have a family culture at all currently. And where it's at today, I think it's the most dangerous thing, because I was looking at this wall and it said the future is her, or the future is female. And I was like, what does that mean for a young male that grows up in a society and he sees the future is female? Maybe he learns to empathetically respect women. He sees them as the new power figures and power mores and dynamics of the world. And I can see how that's very empowering, possibly for a little girl. Maybe it's too much responsibility. I don't know. It could cause anxiety or it could cause empowerment, right? But I was thinking, I said, damn, the young boy never even got to be programmed first, right, with his own empowerment. But he grows up in a world where when the dynamics switch, you have to understand that when it's like if you got a girl and a daughter and all of a sudden the household just start focusing on uplifting the daughter because of what previously happened in the past. Well, what happens to that son? He never actually gets an equal opportunity to ever be instilled with his own power. So it's like you have to be careful, because the upliftment of one, it could be the tear down of another. So now when that girl grows up and then the young boy is not being conditioned to be his highest self, but she's being conditioned to be her highest self. So who is she going to be with in the future? Because you don't want to uplift your daughter and forget to uplift the son, because then she has nobody to be with. But if you're not thinking about the family dynamics and how your sons have to be with your daughters, then you don't care. See, this is why it's dangerous. So it looks good. We go uplift the daughter, but you gotta uplift the son. See, that son wasn't around for what you consider patriarchy of the last 500 years. He had nothing to do with that, right? Just the same way where you uplift, right, the women's empowerment movement, and you don't connect her to none of the past behaviors of oppression that she committed and she was actively involved and have privilege in. That's not how y'all go at white women. You feel me? So this is when we talk about family, you cannot lift one and denounce the other, because you, in that mind, you destroy that young boy of ever wanting to be a man. He wants to be a girl because that's the future, is female. The future female. It's like if you tell somebody, listen, you know, we got these new, I don't know, you tell them to pick a career, and they say the future is lawyers everywhere you go, right? But they may want to be an artist, right? And they like, well, sure, if I want to be an artist, the future is lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody got to uplift the artist as well. So that this dude got the old school ringer on. I think I might have to go ahead and shut that off, brother. Yeah, don't even worry about it. You don't even know that was ringing. So no, the future has to be male and female. It has to be family, right? And this is why it's so important, because you got to understand that this is a projection of collaboration, right? This is a projection of better partnerships and relationships, right? This is better partnerships and relationships when you do this. So you have to be careful, because that's a dangerous dynamic, right? And you have to understand, who does this benefit? Why would a corporation want to do this, and things of that nature? So let's go past family, because I can dive deeper, but I don't have time to go into all that.